are the people, all the people of Myanmar have the equality, justice? Have they been able to live with such? Have there been a union where we have people of equal rights come together? So here we'll be talking about that. This is an important topic. We'll be talking about how do we build what will be the pillars of the union. So I would also like to request the participants to join us in the questions and answer. Please join us in this talk show, and that in the recent posts, people have participated actively and what is the federal union and the federal terminal that people want to see. There have been a lot of comments and sharing from the people, and that has been great as well. That we also like to request you to join us and listen to us. And that the first point I would like to make is that those who are one of the reasons driving Myanmar revolution is federal democracy charter. The federal democracy charter has been enforced in March. There have been groups and there has been organizations, there have been individuals who have worked very hard to be able to adopt the Federal Democracy Charter. The Federal Democracy Charter, as you all know, first started in March. Then we have different institutions that NUG, NUCC, and CRPH have come into more dynamics as well. And then recently, NUCC, National Unity Consolidated Council, or NUCC, NUCC has also have organized its first press conference that on the 16th of November. They also have introduced that reviewed and revised version of a federal democracy charter. That after 10 months, the federal democracy charter that has started in March, it took only 2 months to be adopted, and because that's not something that was that happened overnight. The issue of federal democracy, there has been discussions for over the past 70 years. There has been those who have been pushing for federal democracy, advocating for it, fighting for it, and that leaders from different ethnic organizations and organizations, those who have been active in the federalism and democracy, and these are the results or the outcomes of their efforts, and which has given us to the emergence of a federal democracy charter. I would like to introduce all of you to our panelists today. The first person who will be participating is Captain Agent. Captain Agent is a member of the People Soldiers organization. He has served over 10 years in the military, and he has served various duties in the army. So that will like that's who we will be joining us. I'm sure our audience will also remember Captain Agent because he have also participated in the People Soldier talk before, and he is somebody who understands the law and who somebody who have experience. Will be sharing about as a People Soldier, how did they see the federalism, how do you see the union, as well as Burma, what are his perspectives. Second speaker is a current women expert, as well as the Naw May Oo. She's also the advisor to the Kenya as well. She is a consultant expert in the constitution and the federalism. She's also serving as a senior advisor to the Salwin Institute, and she is also part of the development of the Federal Democracy Charter. She's also currently serving in the National Unity Consolidated Council. Our second guest speaker is a Union Minister, Dr. Hkwang of NUG Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation. He is Kachin, and he is also somebody who is sharing knowledge and that concepts about federalism. He is a minister, so I'm sure that it's not deputy minister. He is minister, Union Minister of the NUG cabinet. So somebody that people follow and respect and support. So we have these are three panelists. They are all ready to join in the People Soldier talk. So we'll continue with this. So People Soldiers Talk has three objectives, as we have shared, and that also People Soldier have that there are also to get the updates on the People Soldiers and Wives of People Soldier. We have a website as well as a Facebook page where you can follow. I would like to invite, as the first panelist, I would like to invite Captain Agent. So what I will listen to Captain Agent first. So Captain Agent, good morning. Please go ahead. So Captain Agent, you have you have been a soldier for more than 10 years. So can you also share us how you understand the union as to the military's narrative, the way the Tamarot described the union in the past, in the past governments, when we're looking at the Palong peace process as well as the federalism, about the talk with the ethnic organizations. What was the Tamarot? How does Tamarot see the union? Can you share with us? Good morning. And I have joined the CDM movement since March. My name is Ajan, and that the injustice and the brutality and that murders being committed by the military, which has pushed me to stand for the people. I would like to explain how I see the union. Is that union is where the states come together to build a nation, and with the union where we all live together. That's the establishment or the entity. So it could be that there's different states coming together, different ethnicities coming together. It is not one state or one ethnicity over dominating the others. It is equal states coming together. It should be based on the desire. It should be designed on the will of the people living in these states, and the states also should also exercise federalism. We all understand that we cannot live apart. It is important to live together. The most important is the centralized control that people are against you. For the different states, different parts of the union, they all want autonomy. They want to have their own powers to be able to exercise power, and that's natural and that's logical, and that's what we also agree to. So how does Tamaro see union? How does that is union, how it is union? It's very few people understand that. The rank and file, the soldiers, will understand that to build a union, that all the states and regions if they have autonomy, if they have self-governance, then that's the disintegration of the union, and they will become like they will be building their own that small nation states, and that like Shun state will be one nation, and then the Sakai will be one region, and that means that one region and one state will be fighting, and that will also make it difficult. It's like it will be like you might even need a passport and visa to go from one state to one region, and that's kind of the concept that the soldiers understand, that our superiors, and that if you start reading, if there are books, and they will not encourage books that are about the politics. They wouldn't let us learn about the political parties. They don't like it. You're not encouraged to read read books about politics or political parties or NLD, so to speak. That what they want is our superiors just want to follow the message they give. They don't want people to learn more about it. They don't want people to be able to have the ability to think harder, because they don't want them to lose their ability to control. And it is important the soldier need to understand that we are being blinded, we are being restricted, and we are being formatted into it. That the brainwash, and that is also they just push us, they just brainwash, so that we only have one idea. We don't know anything else. We only just get what they spoon fed us. So in a way, federalism they consider is a political policy to destroy the nation. That's what the only thing we know. That sometimes the soldiers also don't have equal rights. I know that there is discrimination even among the officers. That if you are graduated from this school or that school, is discriminated to. Even in terms of position, you don't get the same position. Well, you come from DSA, you come from ODS, you come from the officer training school. That you are too old, you're too young, that you are from this one. They wouldn't even give equal opportunities for career as well. And that dividing role is military's in a way motto. The federal they offer will not be genuine, will not be union. I think it is also important to understand what kind of federalism they are talking about. That I think it is also important for soldiers to think on their own. So that's what I would like to share. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Koijian, that the way you have explained, the way you understand is that the military will not encourage political perspectives or the personal abilities or critical thinking, and that under the consent of the disintegration of the society, they were brainwashed, and that they were sort of like that they will put their nationalist idea inside the direction. mount the soldier. So I think, your opinion, we discussed within the time that we have. So do you also want that, also would like to invite that our listeners and participants to join as well? For the next speakers, I would like to invite Naw May Oo. So in the past peace process, based on the experience of the NCA, that as somebody who have been part of it, as well as you also have got the dialogue with there was a woman dialoguing with the generals. How do you understand the soldiers' perception of federalism, and what was the idea of the non-ethnic Burma people? Thank you. So based on my experience in the 2000 in the 2012 bilateral talks between Tamil and KNU, I was there as on behalf as a technical support for KNU, and also for the KNU as well as the support for the KNU leadership. So I was also assisting them, and and also during the negotiation with the KNU, and also supporting the advisor to the PBSD as well. So in every dialogue, in every talk, we can say that based on our experiences and I was able to observe, what I was able to learn is that the Myanmar military's leadership, they are that we call them dictators in an easy way. They are power maniacs, and that they are like they are dictators. No, it's more than that. I think they are worse than that. That they are the way they are crazy about their power, the way they will abuse the power, they will use the power to bully others, is that it's very much based on their patriotism and nationalism. So they are very ethnocentric as well, and that system and the leadership is very much against the federalism, against the national union. It also against that their ethnocentrism, nationalism, patriotism is very much anti the federalism and anti the notion of the union as well. So, military is an institution, and that it's not the institution that will give a life. The people will be losing their lives. People will be giving up their lives too. If we look at it, that the idea of the military leadership is that they are very much focused on the ethnocentrism, nationalism, as well as on that they use it that to oppress the people. So I think if we just say like dictatorship, it might be during the revolution period. If we consider like dictatorship, that I think it is important that we need to be able to do that. So I just like to say there are more than that. There is also the elements of that there are also elements of nationalism, which is also make it harder for the people. That the way what I've observed, what I've learned is that the Burma leaders for during the peace process, or during the negotiations as well, that or the often KNU leaders, well, what happened is the leadership, when they decided to negotiate, if they decide to negotiate, and in a way what we say that like in a current, when we decide to dialogue, we relax in a way. We just say, okay, no, we must not get that. So they make sure that they will not stand too strongly, too hardline on certain India. We are here to negotiate. We are here we are open to dialogue. We are open to compromise. We are open to concede. We are open to give something for what we want. But that's how the ethnic leaderships are. But however, military leadership is not like that. Okay, we are not here. That's why we are going to follow this. We're going to give the current people. You don't have it. So one side, okay, we are trying to build it. We want to live it. We want we want to be able to have it. How can we do that? How can we make that happen? Well, how can we discuss together? So how do we? Okay, no, that's what we'll give to current or not. We will give you that. They will say, we will give you that. We can give you that. And that means if we are giving that, is also show that how they are, that they think we own the union, we own that this is our issue. Only if we decided to give you that, you will get something. And that's is problematic, because if we want to fight the military, if we want to dismantle the military, but if we just leave this at the nationalism aside, we will have a more revolution that happens. So it is important that when we talk about the union, when we talk about the federalism, I think the military is not just as not a simple dictatorship. They have they have a nationalist that kind of dictatorship, though that needs to be taken seriously. That is also another barrier to building a union, federal union of Myanmar. It is a challenge that we also need to take into consideration. Based on my experience, it is not your average kind of dictatorship. They are very much a nationalist dictatorships, as well as, and they are very anti the notion of the union, anti the notion of the federalism, and that's how they also spend. It is an institution of that patriotic nationalism. Thank you, Siama Meu, for Ramu, for sharing, because it's although. So Siama, you were able to explain about it on that on the 3 minutes, and this is based on the many years of observation and engagement. Is and also thank you for your point that it is not just about it's not just about the leadership, but there's nationalism, patriotism are driving this leadership as well. If we focus only on the leadership, then that that nationalism, patriotism could lead to more violence, could lead to another revolution. Thank you very much for that. I would like to invite that Union Minister Dr. Hkwang from the NUG. Right now, we often say that Myanmar's armed group. Myanmar armed groups is also, they are inviting them. They call themselves they call themselves as that caretaker government, and they often say that they respect the federalism, and they often, so the people so the people will have a new sort of like got confused, and the caretaker government that the SAC is voting, what is their position, and how their actions and their activity, their positions, how different are they from that of the NUG government? That I would like to. So can you also explain the differences between the caretaker government and NUG, how different they are from the federalism? Thank you. Good morning. When we are resisting against the dictatorship, I think we cannot stop at looking at the current context. We need to look beyond. When we say dictatorship, that what are the situation, what are the background, what are the root causes that are enabling them, and then what are their concept, what are their concerns? I think it is also important to understand. It is also important to try to raise awareness about it. People always say Myanmar, as if that he is the only person. Like people will swear at them, people will be angry at them, but there are those enabling him. They're enabling him. There are groups which are pushing him forward. They are supporting him as well. That and there are concepts, and that means that. It is sometimes with that we have different feelings, we have a different, so it is so important that the way they are writing, the way they are saying, is that they are not if they maybe that they could be believing that this is true, and they could be doing that, and that they believe that they are on the right way, they are on the right track. So what they want, that if we look at when we look at the situation, is that when we say how do they see their federalism, that and that is also important. Whenever we talk about the federalism is about secession, and that also that federal is that there's something federal is something they will give us. Is there are a lot of concepts. The federalism of Myanmar right now is that it's not about holding together. That is about no, they come from there. It's not from the holding together. We are coming together. That we are trying to join together as well. That I think it's voluntary, and that we are working together as well. That's that right now. That if we look at the boundaries of the, I think it is important to we need to change that as well. That I think that will also that's something we need to work on as well. That so whenever we talk about in the history, in as well as in that we have a lot of even in the history there have been a lot that has happened. So we grew up with this kind of history. So in a way that when the conceptual evolution of the world, and it is important to share with their people, learn about it before the colonialism and after the colonialism, the change of the mindset of the world population, the global citizen is there. But I think I would say that these trends have changed. But however, a few people in the terminal haven't joined us. They still are holding on to the ideas and concept of the Biennial Jordan Tibet from the ancient times. That we're not talking about the British as the only colonialists. That there has been a Burmese colonialist. The Burma kings have we had also Kublai Khan led by the Chinese Mongolian army. They were the colonialists too. Colonialism has come in many ways. And Chin state in the Shan people, Shan had their own Naga. They say that the Shan people have a reign. Chin state one time that Zhao Sein is come from there. Zhao Sein is a historical value. So China has interest back in the time, even before the Second World War. What has happened before the First World War, even before the nation of there has been the war of the law of the jungle is like the stronger win and the stronger writes the history, and that's how it goes. That Myanmar has history of fighting Thailand. They have also Myanmar has also expanded at the time back in those days, and their dominance was strong, and that they were able to have a strong control. But at the time, we know people tend to think, oh, this is the right thing, this is a good thing. But after Atlantic Charter, after Second World War, we see that the British colonialists have given liberation, have given independence to all the colonial states. All the NSA is because of the Atlantic Charter. Even if they may won the war, but they should not be the one who govern it. As the new concept that came into being after that as well. That so British have been considered as that the British consider was as never sunsetting empire. They were the empire across the war. It's not because they lost the war; they won the war and they give it up. They give up the independence because the world has refused to accept it, and that was the reason. So it is important that self-determination is that. Self-determination to be able to create your own destiny is a concept that's something we start to speak up, because after that as well, the people are also more developed in terms of thinking as well. That also that there are also people that we also said that we are talking about it, that there has been a cases as well of it, and that there has been genocide. There have been many killings of ethnic group, but we don't have ICJ before. Genocide is on you. It has happened in the previous war too, but later on we have Indonesian mechanism. There is also the concept of genocide as well, so it has also developed further and further too. So for that reason, that the fact that we're able to have what you couldn't have before, I think it is also important to what they do, so that for the federalism and that the concept of federalism or the self-determination to be able to create your own destiny. It's not somebody who is coming to give you your destiny. It's no longer that. What we are saying is that we create our own destiny. We have our right to build our state as we want, and that's something that and that's the concept where we are coming together to build our union. That's the nature of it. Is as to your sharing, Minister, I would also like to ask you a follow-up question. Right now, that army often says that they will say that like anti-fascists, the anti-colonialists, we need to protect our sovereignty, we need to protect our people from the colonialism, from however, they started from anti-fascist, anti-colonialist movement. Even now, if we look at the actions of the military, they have become a fascist army. Have they become a fascist army? Have they become colonialists? By behavior, by concept, people call them fascist army. That is during the fascist Japanese, because of the way the Japanese army had acted against the civilians, we are seeing such actions in the Burma terminal. That's why people are calling them fascist army, because that recently the soldiers have burned down a group of community members prisoners, like they will burn them alive. There is like extrajudiciary arrest and torture and killing, and that's how the fascists have Japanese army have controlled Myanmar. So that's something military is also doing. That we have suffered so many years, so it's no longer new to us. For us, the kind of killing, the kind of extrajudicial torture, the villages burned down, that has happened in ethnic communities, and we have seen that happen many times. So we are almost used to it, and the atrocities, and that we are saying that this is bad, and to be able to see that these are bad actions, like like Captain Agent said before, that injustice is that so in the injustice, there is also injustice come from the division inside the military, that that they're in among the chain of command, there injustice there. Injustice doesn't have boundaries; they just go over one from another. So I think it is also important that that we need to have like a clear boundary, because we also say that that when we talk about if there are extrajudicial killings, if the military cannot hold those accountable, then one day that will also, that if your military is going the committed that's ethnic actions, that will come in the mainstream areas too. And that is, I have saw that before. If they are killing people like without laws and without murdering them, then that will happen again. That will happen. They would just do more and more. They will escalate. That's how it is. Like there are those who support the military, and they will need to say that. Nobody has said that. Even the military supporter, I try to educate them, try to awareness them, I try to talk to their pages where they're pro-military, to support them, that and the villagers were tied down and killed and burned down. Everyone was shocked. But those are pro-military pages, they are, I was checking their pages, and they are what they're saying is that I just see that, well, now we need to give the kind of lesson that it's oh my god, they should do more, you should do more. So it's saying they like it is pushing them for that as well. That is it is something that they were also that means that they have lost their humanity, like the fascist Japanese, and that they encourage each other to commit more and more injustice. And that's what make the modern Japanese also like, when we talk about the fascism, the Japanese were really, they are very ashamed to even talk about what had happened in the past. But what people are calling the fascist army, because of their actions are very similar to what the Japanese army did during the Second World War. Thank you, Siatukong. So that you are sharing that the crimes that they are committing now, that the crimes they have committed against ethnic communities for many years. For you, there's something you have seen it happen. It is happening, but in the 21st century, and this kind of thinking and this kind of is a bullying, is using power, and it's these are the concepts and ideas which are no longer adapted or suitable for the 21st century. That also means the military is quite far from Vietnamism. I think it was also some who has shared about it. Also, that there were also that they want to build like a big brother giving sharing to their smaller brothers. So that's kind of concept they have in negotiating with the ethnic groups. So I would also like to I welcome you to encourage you to share and talk, and also please keep the comments and questions coming. So I would like to go back to now Captain Agent. After 10 years in the military, you have joined the movement. You have joined the CDM movement in March. So the fact that you've been listening to the other speakers, what are also, after joining the CDM movement, how can you also reflect? What are the concepts and ideas that you are able to, you are able to see the fundamental thinking for you? After the CDM, just as I do say that, so that to the ethnic communities talk about that nationalism and patriotism. Yes, it is important to acknowledge that truth, because that's the truth, that the military is a nationalist, is patriotic, and it is important to acknowledge and recognize that we need to find a way. How do we move forward? How do we move beyond for the future, either as an ethnic group, as an individual, as an organization, as an institution? How do we ensure there is fairness, equality, and justice for all? And that's what realism is important. Those need to understand my organization or that my how can we come together, and that I think it is also important to ensure that as well. So it should be the mindset, of equality, fairness as well, that we say that mindset is that the honesty is the best policy, like when they go. I think it is important to hold on this, that's important, because it is that also important that if we do that, and we can be successful. So after I have joined the CDM movement, what I have learned is that, as for soldiers, is that soldiers have been cut off from the people, from the civilians, that we don't often we don't know what is really happening. I think it is also what is seen, what the people need. We are able to, after the CDM, we are able to see how the challenges we are facing. That it is also, we understand that soldiers must be together with the people. We must be on the side of the people. If we are, because they don't want people, they don't want soldiers to understand the people, because they have used propaganda, they have pushed, they have isolated the soldiers so that they will not be along with that. So whenever you become an officer, it's that we call it, you're like a god, you're like the god. If you're an officer, senior officer, you know everything. That even if you are a doctor, then you don't know, you cannot tell him because you know everything. If you're an engineer, they don't care. If you're a doctor, I am the senior officer, I know everything. And they had such a blind pride and make decision and give comments. And that when they know, they said they know everything, and they consider themselves. I think if you think that I know everything, then they have lost it already, because they are very much, they are lusting after power and more power. And if you have more power, you would. So I was when I has changed, when I have joined the CDF movement, I was able to expose to a lot of experts and to be able to learn more. They are also carrying us that we still have a there's some of the ideas that we have been very much we are able to realize. I also, because as when I was in the ethnic areas, I've able to, only then I was like, they were like brothers and sisters. They are like our parents, and that they have been this is what's happening. This happening in terms of road transport. This is happening in the ethnic areas, able to see and feel. So yes, there are experts in the military, but they are not treated as experts, because the seniors, like because all the seniors they think they know everything, and they never care about the experts. It is important for the rank and file and the officers and say that, do they know better than us? Are they just are they just modifying on what the report that we have written? Are they just that they're dotting T's and I's and dotting I's and T's? Do they really know more than I do? Are they me more? But I think it is also important to value your knowledge, value your expertise. Are they carrying out the truth, or are they being are they committing crimes? Are they elements of criminality? Are they really doing what the duties of the terminal, or are they just carrying out duties in their own interest? That even if will not be able to read, it is important to ask them. If you don't trust them, you ask to your brothers and sisters who are in the ethnic area, because that, so that through their Facebook, and that maybe they may be afraid to even to watch us on Facebook. I would like to encourage them to stand for the truth, to try to know the truth, what is happening there. Once you know the truth, I think it will be easier for you to join the side of the people. People are still welcoming us to change. People are welcoming us as the soldiers to change sides. Thank you, Goijen. And I don't know how others will see, but I think I also like to request that participants to join us to bring an end to an institution. I don't think we don't need other outsiders. It is important to we'll be able to look at what is happening, and we can see that will bring to end with it. So you have pointed about it, that the challenge I will say, people don't have access to information. The soldiers are being blinded. They are being under that they don't have the vision, and there is also this ego of like, I know everything, and that I am protecting the nation, and the rejecting the experts and the recommendation of the expert, those who have the technical expertise, as well as on the abuse discrimination, as well as that abuse, and all these are happening. All these are what is hurting terminal internally. So this shows also the potential of a destruction of the institutions. So I would like to go back to Naw May Oo now. Naw May Oo, you also have shared earlier about the nationalism, and naturalism is one of the one of the most important pillar to do that, because this nationalism, patriotism has been carefully cultured and developed by the military. So during this revolution, time of revolution, how can we change that? What kind of concept ideology should we need to replace patriotism and nationalism? Because it's been that is then that so it's been also that with the 10 months now that and also that the military also has always have this kind of that they have been brainwashing after this kind of concept idea. So in the general revolution, what are the ideas we should have? What are the thinkings we should go on for during the revolutionary period? What should be the concept we need? I think based on my experience, that what I've been in the peace process, and that especially for the federalism, or for the building of the union, about the constitution. I've been into such talks and dialogues, and that as well as on the negotiations. And then before we have the bilateral, in the bilateral talks, can US talking about the federalism, about the building of a union, so that in the SCA also we talk about it in the SCA, and right now also we are also that in the that when the 2000 in the 2015 also in the peace talks, can US talk about the nation of the union as well as the federalism. So I mean, as far as I've studied, and that there has been, and it has been many years that this topic has been brought up. I think people might be fed up listening to talk about the concept of union. That I know that and the KNU leaders have said that for many years in the past 30, 40 years, they already had talked about it. I remember when I started talking about the federalism and the union, I think it's been over like 30 years now. We've been talking about this. So after this many years of talking, I'm sure people will be like, that you have been saying so much that you are really, really, really so that for many years, but that it's already you're sick of saying this, but probably, but what is also said that the union was used like a cheap term. The union was the word was union is, but when we talk about for establish a genuine union, what needs to be done, and we also need to we need to review what has been done, because this is what we use so often that it becomes the value. It has lost its value in some way. Since the peace process started in 2000, and when from the peace process, when in 2015, when the NLD government came to office after 21st of February, after the coup, with the Spring Revolution, everyone agrees to the union. That is something of the union, and that said, a lot of people say that what we are starting to see is that when we say the union, I'm just looking from the technical part, is that but when we talk about union building, when we say union building, then yes, union is a word that is very commonly used in Myanmar. But when we talk about union building, that when we start to look at the union building, like from the, I think it is much more that it is much, there are more difficulty than we could ever think about. Those difficulties, where do they come from? And like Captain Agent, I think I'm sure Hkwang and Captain Agent had this get, and as I've said before, it came from this nationalism, came from the patriotism that I own the state, we have the power, and we can give, or we can, I will decide or whether or not to give you, and that's inside there. That so what do the ethnic community want? The ethnic community is not just with the word of federal, the democracy union. Well, already the terminologies are there. Why are you so unhappy? And there are questions still like that. What we call it, the term belongs to is the term belongs to, or the union may be a cheap word, or but when you do the nation building, we have to be more practical. It is also important to change our behavior and the way of it. I think it is a challenge for all of us to change the way we think or the way we act. Like Shun, your question, your earlier question, that this is that nationalism, the patriotism is one of the pillars of the dictatorship. That to be able to change that to in the union building, these are the pillars of strategy. It is important to change this, dismantle that. It is all that we all need to understand that we want the union, we want to build it. All of us. I'm not talking about military. I'm not talking about the Damaro. Damaro is anti-union, anti-federalism, but all the people, all of us, all the groups, we are saying that we want the union, we're the federalism. When we negotiate, when we discuss, to be very honest here, we need to admit that it is a challenge for all of us. We were using the term the union as a very cheap, it's a common word, and it has lost its value. We need to change the mindset. We need the behavior. We always consider that there are groups who have think that we have the ownership of the union, and those who have been always oppressed. When we try to discuss together at the negotiation table without equality, without strong belief in equality, without strong belief in equal rights, that it will be lopsided. It will not be fair at all. So I think it is important that the one group about the nationalists, nationalist patriotists, and these egomania, they have to be fight against. They have to remove. There no question. Even this what my question I would like to know is that from those who have the mindset and the behavior, that should not be the basis of it. And when we talk about the when we say that autonomy, self-determination, and that is important. It has to be and realize it, because for many years we had Burma nationalism, and that Burma may not be, all of them may not be nationalists, but that's a Burmanization, the nationalism has been there. It is there. So in such a country that Burma have been privileged, to be very open here. Burma have enjoyed the privileges other ethnic community do not have. When you talk about the nation building, I think is as Burma, the privileges you had will need to be changed. Will need to be in this do. So it might not be comfortable for the Burma people. You're going through the challenge, and there are also the feelings, the strong feeling as well. I think it will become this discomfort will be challenging for all of us, and that's what I've observed and see during my work as well. If you really want to build a federal union, that it's not the federal union because the current wanted, Kachin wanted, or because of the Palau wanted. That's a federal union we want is to ensure a better future, a beautiful future, to guarantee a better future for all of us, to ensure that we'll be able to stand strongly as a union, to be able to have the dignity in the global community. That's what we are trying to build. So in order to do that, that only then with this mindset that we'll be able to will be able to do that. That we'll be able to that all the communities, they're asking for so much. It's not just, well, let them have it because it's not just Karen and Burma. It's for all of us. It's important. We all want to live together in peace and prosperity. Then when to live through the good times and bad times, we need to change our mindset. We need to change the behavior, that there will be hard time ahead, and we need to commit to it. Thank you very much for making the point. And I was listening that I was also thinking that we need to change we need to change the mindset. We need to change the behavior and the patterns too, that we are going towards the federalism concept is agreed, but it might be beyond our comfort zone, but it is also important to try to bring in the right idea, the right concept. We also need to have a thick skin, that we need to have a thick skin, and we are now also fighting for the military, that the military also have a lot of counter document. We also need to have a thick skin as well to bear with the counter as well. It is also important that when we try to change it, there could also be the conception, misconception, as when we talk about misinformation or idea. I think it is so important to be able to be humble enough to accept the feedback and the issues that the other community are facing. I hope that that this is, we also will understand that federalism or the union is not just the military, not just the leaders of the politics. It's all of each and every one of need to change our position. It is also important to understand that where did it go. So it is something we all have to know. I would like to invite Dr. Hkwang now. So NUG is NUG is trying to build a union where the different states come together. What are the basic concept of the federalism to build the federal union, and why are this policy established, and what's different from the past of federalism? Yes. So that I would also like to explain about why I joined the NUG. Before and during the NLD period, that we had also have a lot of disputes about the democracy federal and federal democracy and democratic federal. That was a big debate back in the NLD. NLD called it democratic federal union. That's what NLD called. And there's a discussion how military has used it. They like that concept that they use that they know that they were NLD used what the military has that the concept the military have proposed back in the NCA. So for the concern of the ethnic communities is that that Burma and that the rule of the Burma, the Burmanization, as well as on the Burman-centric nationalism, is that it is a Burma-centric government had always seen that, and that is also there. That what something when we say about it that so either they center Burma, they center as well as in that as well. We have already discussed this as well. So whenever that ethnic community we value our territory, we value traditions, and that we also have that also have our strong commitment to what we believe in as well. In that when we say democracy federal, if we look at what's behind the democracy federal, if we try when we listen to their explanation, is that they said no, we must run the democracy first, then we go to the federalism. That's what means is that democracy is, as you all know, that democracy is the majority wins. So what that means that if the majority can do whatever they want, it's a majority control, and that's the part of the democracy. So that's something like as Naw May who have pointed out that this is that they are thinking like what we could do. We are the ones who will give it to you, and that's the I think that's kind of where the democracy federalism come from. So it's more into the integrationism because they want to integrate everyone into the mainstream identity, and that's kind of the idea, that kind of ideology, that's kind of thinking. And then later on, so that maybe the terms will change, the terminology will change from the democracy federal, that it change into that they change from the federal democracy, and that to abolish that, to now say constitution. And that's why that that was I was in the NUG government. So NUG policy that so when you look at the NUG's basic policy, and that's what we think of, that these are the concept we think of, and that in the NUCC, when you discuss the charter, also most of the ethnic leaders were very careful about these principles too. The policy of the NUG, we don't have a speculative policy. The policy is that we NUG will follow the policy guidance of the NUCC, because NUCC was taking some time, so the NUG side will have to do for image. There are things we have to do with something like emergency response, because now is a revolution time. So for the revolutionary needs, and then sometimes we might also need to do that important procedures. That is, we have to formulate procedures too, that to be able to be able to govern, to be able to manage better. But in the future, but it will be the NUCC, the policy guidance with the Federal Democracy Charter will be the set of the Federal Democracy Charter will be our guidance for the entire government. That the government will have to be in it. We will form individual groups to be able to work on it. That's what we are plan to do as well. That so this is something. So these are the notions that we are working on. The point I would like to make is that NUCC, the Federal Democracy Charter, NUCC will be our policy, will be the policy of the NUG. Thank you, Saya. It is important that NUCC will be there. That National Unity Consultative Council will be the key, and that on the 16th of November they also have organized the press conference. I think it is also important to study that. The minister also the policy set by the NUCC for the building of the future nation and the federalism. NUG will implement the policy. So I think it is important that people understand about it, what the policy the NUCC established. Now we are at a certain time during the talk. We also have some of the comments that have been shared as well. That is in that so when we build this union, that federal or democracy, I think it is also important to it is also important to that to try the centralized system that I think is, as I said, to call also about it, centralization or centralized system, or the Burma-centric system, the kind of like nebular-centered system. Because of that system, there has been a lot of impact. I think we have already answered this question, and that some people say that panel that General Aung San give commitments to sign the panel agreement, but that they don't agree on the General Huan assassinated. These commitments were now you're thrown away. So that's why some people say that Burma cannot be trusted. I think it is also something important that about the political commitments, that it is important to hold on the political commitment is also important. Honesty is important. That it is important to be. I think it is also important for that all of it. So thank you for sharing it. So I would like to invite Captain Agent as for the last part. So Koichen, that we have Chin ethnic brother has asked a question. We will not be able to ask all the question. I would like to go to the second question. So you are based on your experience, and that as well as that so that I would like to ask that what do you have learned about it? So based on that, what kind of democracy the military want? And then why is the Tamil afraid of federalism? So that what kind of federal democracy they want? How do you see that as well? That also that and also that so can you also explain about what Myanmar is going? So that so can you also share to your fellow the brothers and some in the military? Thank you. That the democracy system that the military want. The democracy they are talking about is in the. I think they don't want democracy at all. That what democracy they want. I know how to. They don't want democracy. They don't have political will for democracy. They're just saying democracy verbally because they want a dictatorship. They want absolute control. That's what they want. So they just want to understand. Okay, yes, please go ahead. What are your recommendations for the others? So as for the recommendations for the fellow brothers and those are soldiers and officers, whether the families in them, and we don't. I didn't join the CDM because I hate them. I joined the CDM because because of the errors, because of the mistakes, because of the wrongs that they are being committed. It's not because we hate them or not because we hate my brothers and Israel. I cannot remain inside, and they can. I was one. If I was say that if I am inside the military, I cannot give. I'm going to talk to my superiors. Only when I'm outside that I will able to say that. So I think to do that, all the military officers and the rank and file and they may often say that whatever it is, if the military can do whatever they want, can do anything, that whatever military does, people will support. That's not logical. That's not natural. That's not happy. Military cannot stand without the support of people. You can ask any expert. If you're asking your senior, if they're asking them to, it is important to read. It is important to approach the experts. You will see the reality that the military cannot survive without the public support. That without the public support is a truth, and it is a universal truth that they need to acknowledge and understand that if you're killing the people, if you're attacking the people, that it is not it is absolutely important that you need to stop there. You need to stop. If you're encouraging the violence, that means that you are also that there won't be, you're not writing the right history, you're not supporting your family, that you will face all the action, you will face the criminal charges, prosecution of people. It is important that shouldn't we not enough with that kind of history writing, shouldn't they be part of that movement, part of the trend, that our family members, the military, the families, they are being a block up, they are being locked inside because they are not able to learn more, they don't have a right to use their limitations on the using the mobile phone, and even if they cannot study on their own, they have their families, they shouldn't be telling that they have brothers and sisters and brothers, they need to see the truth, and they need to convince those their children, your sons and daughters who are still in the army, that it will be challenging to leave the military. What it is it is it is also important that recognize that is something, because we cannot have regrets, and it's important to be brave enough to join the CDM movement, because as for those for building the federalism, and then who has a responsibility to build the federal union, all of us are responsible for it, but we need experts. We have our representatives to give them mandates, to be able to positions, to give them the to be able to have to so that to have them to be able to suffer us. So I think it's important that those who are working for the federalism, it is important to do it for the future of our generation, because what you have that we now will be given that, because the materialistic substance that you have is not for the long term, it's not it's not sustainable, it's not for the future of our nation. So all the leaders who are discussing the federalism, and the leaders and the Burma leaders, they only think about what work can we give to the nation of federalism, and then who do we give position, rather than taking position. It is important to who should we give position to, who is meritable. And I think it is also important to give position as well, that and then also that it is also important to have the honesty as a business policy. Everyone, one person cannot be right all the time, a person cannot do anything, and that person cannot know everything. So it is also important to be honest. It is important to say that okay, that it is also important to welcome the experts. It is also important to get recommendations from the experts as well. So think about the future of the future generation. So I think what I'm saying is that it should be based on the honesty. It should be based on the shape the future, thinking about the future of that the building nation as the future of our people, the future for the future generation. Thank you for the recommendations. Recommendation have been for your fellow brothers in Inam, as well as for the individual people as well. So we'll be discussing the recommendations now. So we have received a lot of questions. Thank you very much for asking the questions. Some of the questions I will read out, and some of the point I will also be just making to do that as well. Sorry that we don't have the time. One of them said that if you want to dismantle the pillar, it is also important to strengthen our pillars too. Yes, true. It is important that that's why that it is also important to the suggestion was also for the NUCC to also raise awareness about the federalism charter as well. And I think it is also important that we also like we will do what we can, but at the same time we want people to be keep aware of keep abreast of what is happening as well. I would like to invite Naw May Oo once again. So how can how will what so there's a question like that so how do we set the federal army? What will be the level of soldier of the the ranks and soldiers will be something? How will the federal army be? Federal army will be built based on the standards, and the federal army is a term very widely popular. So I want to ask you, how will the federal army be established? What are your expectations given the current that the federal army that people can rely on for what is needed to be done, or what still need to be developed? Can you share? Thank you for the question. That when we say federal army, though is we have gone over a lot of steps. What is, I think, the main what we needed is that we need the union as a system. We need to have the union system first. We need to have a nation built of the union system. That's what we need first, and then all those everything is there will be the federal. It could be federal education. It could be federal security, federal health. Everything will be a federal system. So we need to have a federal union first. We need to first base a federal union where the states come together. We need that system first and foremost. So what is a union system? That's what will be the first point. So when we discuss about this, and that I will just before this discussion, and I was discussing with Yama Shun, and that I asked her who will be listening to. I asked her who will listen to these talks, and then she said that people from different backgrounds come and listen to us. And there are people. There could also be maybe some people maybe who want maybe the politically activists, and the or the average people or common people will listen to. So this is my message for the common people of Myanmar. I will not use the technical terms. I will not be making reference to the the concept, but that I have studied many years about the federalism. I work on the federalism. As somebody who is consistently working on this, I would like to say that process. I would like to explain a little as well to make it easier. I will try to make sure. When we say federal union, is that there is a sovereign, there is that different states and the federal union system, the power, the sovereignty lies in the states, like the federal unions. What does it say? That in the union, in the federal union constitution, is very clear the sovereignty is in there. That also shows that it's very clear that is the as well that so it is that means that so that it is the supreme powers lying in the federal lies in the federal union, and that's the most basic fundamental point of the federalism. Secondly, is that the supreme power, sovereignty, or is it sovereignty is not, it's not like a solid. It is just in the hand. It is also in a way I would say that like this is my, if this is sovereignty, I cannot say it's not, it's abstract, it's not substance. It's that when we build the federal union system, all the issues, all they have to do, okay, which activity, which power, which hour, in whose hands, and that or the which will have those that which can do and what can do. There's a union government, which will be the state government. That it is no, it's just we don't fracture or refracture the sovereignty and then give it. Okay, then give it to the union government. Let's give to the state government. Let's give to the these powers will go to that. These are the powers we give to the union government, or that there are powers that we let them use. So that's a supreme power does not stay as a one solid block. There are powers which are given to the union, which are given to the federal states too. So it is something you must come to terms with. That it's not like how something we know like before, like in a way that what we will call the all that narratives that we have been sort of like pacified with. The federal union is not the supreme power should not be before in the Navy, before it was in Yangon, before in Libya. It's not in the hands of an elite, hands of a few people. And that's, I think it is important to understand that clearly. That sovereign power is it should be reflected in the daily life and the eliminated for the education, health, as well as on the other ideas of the culture. It should be reflected that sovereign power is there, because sovereign power being used, it should be used for the people as well. That third point I would like to make is that, let's say, let me give you an example, that I am a citizen of the union, federal union, then I can live wherever I want. I have access to education. I can study whenever we want to, and that is something also guaranteed. It is also my ethnic right that has been guaranteed by the constitution. However, but that means that I can go, and where I study, I have my choice. I will be able to go, and my choice will be within the limitations of the state government. If I meet the state criteria, then I will be able to go to any state to study. That's what the access to education is a basic right, well, the constitutional right of the citizen of the Federal Union of Myanmar. However, which state I want to go and study, where I going to settle down, want to live, I will need to follow the standards of that federal state. If I meet the qualifications, if I meet the standards, then I can do. And that's also this is about the division of powers in it. So when we look, that's, if you understand the basis of it, then I think it will be about the question of federal army. So federal army, as in Pinang Tamado, or the federal army. So when we say federal army, that the military call himself the concept of the union, they call themselves the federal army. So I feel bad for the term itself. But when we say federal army, that we are talking about is that if you understand the notion of the federal union, then if we can build that, then how would you establish the federal army? There are no question, because it's part of the constitution. Constitution will give us the guidance, and we follow. There are basic principles in it as well. How do we establish that? It will be very clear that it will be like how there will be the rules and the accountability as well. So based on the constitutional policy, that everything we do within this federal union will be based on the constitution. It must be in line with the federal constitution. So that's how it will be. So in a way that federal army, the federal army, as well as in this we are the people soldiers talk. So we like to talk about the union and that federal army, the role of federal army, people will be interested in such topics. But if we look at the role, and then there will be, it is important to look at it from the perspective of the unions, federal union security, that also that we talk about it, that whenever we say we talk about it, okay, what is Tamadol and what does Tamadol do, and what services Tamadol provide, that the army provide. When you talk about the security, we talk about the protection, we talk about the security, we talk about also about the defense. That it is when you got the federal army, it concerns all the federal citizens of citizen of the union or citizens of the federal state. It's not like the company owned by a few people. It's not by a small handful of people, but because it's a federal army, it is a federal issue. I think if when you found that it will have to be reflect the union as well, that it will have to be that with the through that all the federal states will have to participate in it, and that will depend on it. How will we do that? The details, as in like what will be the percentage? All the federal members of the federal union have to participate, but then how the details on how we do that, that it will be also the negotiation of the people of the as well. So this is something they all have to agree on as well. So as that for the experts as well as on the that in terms of that we talk about, it's easy to write down on what should happen, but it is important that all the entities in the union, especially with those weapons, what kind of organization there be, they must be really in line with this as well. That we need to put federal union system as our standards, and all the institutions will need to be similar. However, what are the positions, how many from which department, what are the criteria? It will be the decision of these are the details that will have to be technical part, and also will need to be discussed to all the different organization will have to discuss together. Depends on that. I would like to say that what I would like to people to understand is that in the federal union system, that especially for the future of the federal armed forces, we need to think about the security. That we need to think about is also about so we need to think about it from the protection and the security of the federal union. If we only think about this like one group, and that will means that it seems like as if they are more important, that they have to be there. No, we need to, it's as if it is higher. That's not what we don't want to happen. It's not like this, that it is that what we that in this system, that in any institution in the federal union, any federal organization will have to be in line with the federal principle in the constitution. Only then will be able to will be able to work for the development, providing necessary public service like the health and education. Last point I would like to make is about this. When we say union state security, that we talk about when we think about the security, by when you say security is very, very broad. All the security institutions that need to have should be under civilian control because of the democratic governance system, and that they must be professional. I want you to that, like the way the military. I don't like the way they turned it. I don't know how to say professional in Myanmar. They have to be they have to be a professional institution, and also they must be able to meet their capacity at the union level. However, in Myanmar, I think it is important to think more than that, because Myanmar is emerging from many years of conflict, so that it is important that for many years of a nation coming out from that, we need to think about when we think about so just 2 points will not be enough. It is also important to make sure that the conflict will not start happen. We need to think about the public safety and public security, so the conflict will not happen again. So when we say that we often think about the security is about not just about the armed organization, about the justice system, education, good governance. All these are part of the security system too, and they are directly either directly or indirectly related to this. I think it is important to see security is much more than ethnic or by the armed organization. It's about the justice, about the economy, it's about the legal system. Only then there will be so thank you, Naw May Oo, for explaining that does it matter we call it that I think it is important that we have if we have it like a good system, then it will be that we're like killing two birds with one stone. We need to build on the strong federal union, then the federal army will come along, because we need to focus on that the federal system that is being built by the NUCC will build that. So if you have a good federal system, it will be happen. So whatever it is, the future army, future organized, future federal arm organization will need to be under the civilian control, and that as well that the Myanmar's the current terminal that they are not under civilian control, and that's why they are also fighting against it. And this is something we also need to be able. Thank you, Naw May Oo, for sharing as well. So we are now really getting into it, and the people are also we are getting comments from the people too. And sorry that we are not be able to respond to all the questions, but we will also organize more as well. I would like to invite Sia to come one more time. Is that so we have a question. The question also is very interesting, and people will be interested in that as that it was asked by the Boa Auni that in the current situation is that in such a situation, do you think that NLD NLD reconciliation has been successful? Cambodia is also now trying to do the reconciliation with the army as well. That it is also important that. So we'd like to can you also discuss about the essay? Can we consider the reconciliation of the NLD is successful? Not very interesting question. Thank you. So Dawn San Suu Kyi has and think she may have her own ideas in of thinking, because when you say reconciliation or national reconciliation, that is also that it is to able to bridge the gaps, bridge the gaps between NLD and the military. And then she was trying to accommodate the military, trying to provide compromise, and that like Sema said that because of the negotiation dialogue, and that when you think about negotiation dialogue, there is also there is a must be compromise as well. That because one side it is because only the one side is giving up, being magnanimous as or something. All of us and think of Dawn San Suu Kyi. I'm seeing herself was thinking. I think we'll be thinking like that too. But on the other hand, it is also important that but on the other hand, one side always look at you as enemy. So when we say reconciliation, that since there is a coup, the reconciliation has ended. The reconciliations have failed as well. But now we have that Cambodia is trying to they are trying to reach out to the SAC to start again the reconciliation. Is that and that it is also I think is also something that come from it, that whatever those who are needed, they are in a position, and they would like to always say that they will go for dialogue. They call the dialogue as reconciliation, but reconciliation, the term reconciliation is very very deep and very also it's like an art. It's like art, very subtle. There are many elements to it. It's very broad, and it's also very broad as well. But however, the reconciliation in Myanmar is more like it's like it's only it pertains to the elite, and that's how they use it as well. That in terms of there are a lot to be done in the technical part to do that. Without technical part, I think that it doesn't matter. No, the two top leaders cannot. No, these are not issues where the two top leaders can murmur, can whisper to each other and do that. It's like there are also backgrounds of it important. There are things that it is also very broad as well. So I would say that. So the past, I would say very clearly that the past reconciliation has not been successful. So, what can we do reconciliation with the military, that rather than the that reconciliation in terms of that when reconciliation, like people call reconciliation, is that like civilians, they fight each other, they fight with each other, and then somebody come in to get them to talk to each other again. Well, you give this up and get no. It's more than that. There are many reasons. It is important to be pragmatic as well. It is important that that when it comes to that politics and national, but for the union, it has to be a lot of things to be pragmatic. So if we look at it, in addition to coalition, what we should be doing is that it's not just about the between the ethnic and Burma, because often we have that when we say also that for the federalism, a lot of people will say that it's a federal is about the ethnic rights. No, it's more than that. That when we talk about the federalism is for all the people of Myanmar, for the to be able to look at there are many differences. I think it is important to establish a system where people were able to have equality. So it is about that. So that when we say reconciliation, is very much based on the mindset of the people. How come the people are, when we say reconciliation, it's not just about the there's like a national anthem because the words looks good. No, there in implementation to be it need to be realistic, and that because that if there are things are not resolved, then they will not, these grievances will not go away. So reconciliation cannot be only in words. If we really want to do reconciliation, it's much broader. And then also it is also important to have the federal democracy must be implemented. That when we say federal, and that also that is important. So there are also a lot of concerns from there as well. They said, okay, our ethnicity and religion will be lost. So they have such a lot of concern, and some people think, oh, that's not that important, but no. When we say that Mabata, and that people say that they were just think just about the Mabata or the religious the extremist group. No, but the religion and the ethnicity it exists in everywhere. Among those are pro-military, they have that as well. They have that. The NLD also have them, and every ethnic group want to protect their religion and their ethnicity, and that's the desire of every community. Kachin has it, Kanyero have it, Shun will have it, everyone will have it. They want to protect their community, their religion, they want to protect their identity. That's natural, that's for everyone. And that's why we need to build federalism. And also another thing is that what we want and what we need in Burma is there's also another thing. Often Burma people, they need to understand that they from their history, that there are also times where they have been successful, that the Burma culture, and that is I think it is also important to protect them, because Burma is that Burma has been we are surrounded by two superpowers with the billions of people. Myanmar is that so that it is look like if that we are more people, but we are between these billions. We are a minority compared to our the big nations the surrounding us. That it is important. We are also a minority. It is important to understand, to respect that so that we can also, if we that it is also without a space to be able to manage our culture, preserve our culture, then in the future, in the next 120 years, not just that Burma will also be lost as well, because we cannot go on the citizen base. If you did the citizen base, and that it doesn't matter if you're born on the citizen, then how many years later you will become a citizen, and that there should be a law for it. There will be law, and after many years that Burma could easily become a minority too. So we have to be aware of that. When you look at especially the ethnic concern is that Burma will dominate and our ethnic communities will lose. That's what our concern. But it's something undeniable. We have that concern. That's why we are always have accommodations, and we have to accommodate. We need to accommodate all the ethnic communities that we accommodate. We need to give them a seat. We need to give them space. With that, that is what is important. That and that it's not a problem having a different ethnic groups. Kachin, and I think there are Kachin in other area. We have a Myanmar diaspora in millions in Thailand, in the Kachin area, but it's not a problem going to the other area. But they must have a space for them. They must have a space for them in their community, in Burma, that that it is also important that where the Burma had where the historical values and government, that is important, accommodate the ethnic group. That's also important. So if we do that, when we talk about such a system, when we implement such a system, I think it only then that all the people will feel that will feel the peace. There will be less and less conflict. Only then the reconciliation will become a reality. That when people can interact, people can communicate, people can go from one place to another. That even to talk about federalism in Myanmar, like they are concerned that we might need passport to go there. But it's like Singapore and Malaysia. If you go to from Singapore, Malaysia, Singapore is actually divided from separated from Malaysia. They don't have passport. You can go there. If you are a Singaporean can go and work in Malaysia. Malaysian people come and work in Malaysia. That these countries, they coexist. It's not a problem at all. So when we say federalism, it's very broad. Federal is a very broader system. It is not just one nation. It's a more of a union, and that's why it is only say that important. That reconciliation is important to have a mutual recognition. It is important to have equality. That will be important for us. That will give us a chance to be able to have a successful reconciliation. Thank you very much. To share who with many experience also have share with the examples as well. I think this talk will not end here. I think it will also give us a lot of. If we look at the question of the quality is important. I've been moderators. When you look at the questions asked by the people, have political maturity has increased. I think I also like to encourage you to discuss the question like from Cambodia to ASEAN. I think it is also important to look at the other countries. The way they approach Myanmar issue is very different. So some might be pushing for the dialogue. There are also local forces, some political forces pushing for dialogue as well. And what kind of dialogue they are looking for? What kind of negotiation are we talking about? If we don't have the negotiations and dialogue, what will happen? I think it's time to talk about it. This conversation will continue because now we are going towards a revolution, is going toward the future federal union. We are fighting against the Myanmar Amguses. We are also fighting to build the future of the federal union. We are on the way. If you are not joining us, then you will be left behind. That Myanmar and there is organization needs to understand that while we are moving toward the federalism, we are discussing how we go there. We are trying to build consensus on. I think it is important I would like to remind people to read updates and to follow us so that about the reconciliation is we know that it is also important to learn from the lesson from the past failure as well. When you talk about the justice and accountability, that there has been a justice and issues of the community that there has been also that there has been systems of impunity has lead to to others as well. So I think it's something important we need to learn about. So that today's 16 days of activism for violence against women, we also have raised the issue that is stop impunity. So I would like to add to the discussion. I think our talk has been that we have. I think we are also be able to answer the questions as well. That is. As well, I mean that is what I would like to say is that it is that the conversation just end here. Please, we also like to discuss among the people, about the family, among your community, because militaries, one of the main pillars to supporting the military is the concepts, is the ideology. So it is important to dismantle such pillars, such thought pillars, and the ideological pillars. It is important to strengthen our own pillars, and it is also important also to build that on base that revolution will be based on the honesty, and it is important to have thick skin to look at the comments and the feedbacks and to be able to fight against it. Right now, we often talk about this being the big brother to the big brother to the younger brother among the kind of concept, the kind of ideology, the kind of perspective from the major ethnic group to minorities. That I think it is important to be critical. It is important to review yourself, analyze, and then to respond to that as well. So it is important we need to change the mindset. It is also important also to learn more about this. So I would like to end our dialogue here. Thank you very much for joining us. Naw May Oo, so I think, can you also respond to, you also, as you said, you will respond to this as a last question, like is it possible to build a federal union of justice? I think that I think it is important to respond to this question, and that also is that it is so this is the topic in this as well. So that there are many there are many words we say. Like often we some of the leaders and the parents, they will often give us. My father will say that that is well, iron can be melted. Like that there is like nothing is impossible in this world. Since 46, 47, we have to, like the debate we have here, like the negotiations here, we have discussed since 46, 1946, 1907. Yeah, we haven't able to implement it yet. I mean, it's not impossible. I would say that, like, it has not happened yet. It is not impossible. I would just say that it has not happened yet. We still need time to encourage and go for. It means that it's not easy. Just don't think about it hasn't happened yet. It doesn't mean easy, because it will be challenging. It is difficult, because to build the federal union, I would study many years in many years in the university, as well as I also work on this issue. I know how difficult it is. But after 70 years of rather than suffering the 70 years of civil war, it doesn't matter how difficult the bit of federalism. I think it's worth it. I think if we try it, we can happen. We can make it happen. I think we have to be committed, we have to be genuine, and then we can make it happen. That is, nothing is so possible that it can happen. We need to be strong, we need to be committed and face it. So we'll meet again next Sunday at 10 a.m. Myanmar time. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great day.
Yeah, look like him, don't Nyalu Kate, wait to Nina, what up you say? Don't do away, let me down, a big found do it. Hey,